Hey there, welcome back to my channel, Ashley's Oasis. And today we're going to be talking about this. You may not be able to make it out, but it says karma. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a firm believer in karma. I believe that whatever you do in this life, whether it be good or bad, will always find its way back to you. Or sometimes to individuals around you. There's been instances where people get blessed because a certain person did a good deed and blessed everybody. And then there's also been situations where someone didn't do something positive and got their whole family, a crew, a clique, or whatever caught up. So I want to encourage all of us chosen, especially, to not dabble in the realm of negative karma. And what I mean by negative, as we know, many things in life boil down to good and bad, evil and good, etc., etc. And when it comes to good karma, those are the things like, helping other people move or babysitting or, buying a meal for a homeless individual, things along that line. And then when it comes to bad karma, we got people who steal and lie or bear false witness, as the Bible says, against their neighbor, or, people who go out of their way trying to bother people who don't bother them. And, of course, that can go on and on and on down that realm. There's so many things. But when it talks about karma, good karma tends to be a high vibrational practice. It takes a lot of inner strength and work to want to stay in a high vibrational state. Don't get me wrong, it's a struggle. Especially in these days and times, it gets harder and harder to want to do something kind for someone. But it is a must, because at the end of the day, the karma that you put out into this world is what you get back. And not only that, you have to be a mirror of the type of treatment you would like to receive. If you live by those principles, treat others how you want them to treat you. Obviously, I know I'm probably not the only one noticing there's a lot of bad, I guess, karma being doled out right now by individuals. You just look at the world news and see what's happening around the world, and all of this, infighting with individuals, racial fights and disagreements and wars and all those things. And I think what those people fail to realize is that anybody that's participating in that type of stuff is going to get that stuff paid right back to them. If they were out there trying to help others, then yeah, they might come back to them in a positive blessing. But if they out there doing the, messing stuff up and, doing all that evil stuff, then baby, you need to tread carefully, because at the end of the day, another tricky thing about karma is that it doesn't always come back to you directly. It could easily impact someone that you love or that you care about, could affect your livelihood. I mean, as we've seen so many Karen videos online, how these people essentially go out of their way to disturb people or individuals who aren't breaking any laws. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just merely existing and enjoying themselves. And here comes that negative Nelly, essentially, to want to mess stuff up just because she or he isn't happy, or they aren't happy with themselves, and they want to take that out on other people, which is completely wrong. And I'm the type of person that, hey, if you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't care who you are. You can be my mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter, whatever. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So at the end of the day, stuff like that does matter, and how we treat people. Karma is one of those sneaky little things that when you think everything's going good and fine, and then you got one psh, bam, bam, bam after another, just one bad thing coming one after another. And please don't misunderstand. Sometimes bad things do happen to good people. However, if you're a true good person, for instance, a special chosenly person, that bad thing can and most likely will still work out for your good and in your favor. If, for example, someone goes out of their way, you find yourself in a Karen situation. Like I'll use myself as an example. I had an incident where I was at a park with my children. We were just walking, just trying to walk the track like usual, whatever. And all I know is my son, my youngest son is visibly upset. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he says that some random man at the park called me a POS. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, first of all, I said, I don't know what I've done to this individual to deserve to be called that when I don't even know who this person is. And of course, when I walked up, the man was still standing there. But again, I didn't know what had transpired. So apparently he said that to his little buddy beside him. And my son happened to be in earshot and he heard him say what he said. And so when I came up to my son, he, looking upset, and he told me that. And I was like, well, baby, I said, first of all, I'm not going to argue with anybody that's going extinct. And when I said that, what I meant was, this is, a male, type of male that figure that the world needs less of, to be honest with you, in terms of being a toxic masculine presence and entity. Because what type of man goes out of his way to try to tear down a woman that he does not know, has never seen, has never dealt with a day in his life, but he goes out of his way to say something disrespectful about her, merely solely, I'm assuming, on my appearance, because he alluded to saying something along the lines, oh, I don't want to look at that POS, so let me put my glasses on, I guess referring to me as a POS. And when my son, heard that, of course he was upset. And I had to explain to him, I said, baby, we can't control other people and what they say and what they do in this life. And I said, at the end of the day, I said, baby, I know that may have hurt your feelings, but it didn't hurt mine, because I said, I know who I am. So what that tells me is that that's a miserable individual. And that's what I meant by when I said that I'm not going to sit here and argue with someone who is going extinct. That type of male attitude, that chauvinistic, just wanting to beat a woman down and tear a woman down for seemingly nothing because you're insecure in yourself. There's something about me that triggers your insecurities. Doesn't bother me, because at the end of the day, I know men like you are leaving this place more and more. So, anywho, I get my children, we wrangle together, and we walk out of the park. And as I'm walking out, I'm speaking loudly to my son so that others can hear, because there were others around who, again, sat there, did nothing. So for those people, guess what? That negative karma that I'm talking about might be finding its way back to you because you sat right there and allowed someone to try to hassle somebody who, and calling someone out of their name who did nothing to them. But anywho, as I was walking on my son, and I just basically was telling him about the laws of karma. And I said, honey, I said, one thing about karma is that it always finds its way back to sender, especially if, I'm assuming in that moment that man wanted me to react, I guess in a stereotypical manner that he may have assumed that I would have reacted based on what I look like. But I didn't even give him my energy. I just, like I said, I addressed my son and my son alone, because that's the only person I needed to address in that moment. And I just spoke out loud as we were leaving, like, hey, karma's a bee. And, just know that, no one's gonna bully me or my family from enjoying ourselves in public spaces that is meant for everyone, because I do feel like it was supposed to be like an intimidation tactic to get me and my family to leave, which is, again, just shows their lack of maturity, because there was a soccer group training, but we weren't nowhere near them. They had all this field to be in. We were literally on the concrete track, just walking and not bothering a soul. But I just, after all that, I just made the mention like, hey, we will be back tomorrow. Sure enough, we arrived the next day, my husband in tow this time, and nobody was there to be found. So I do think maybe he heard me and maybe he got scared, and when I said, oh, I'll be back tomorrow, because I get the feeling like I don't know what it is about me that tells people like, hey, try her, she's someone to be messed with. But no, baby, this ain't the energy you want to mess with, because I'm the type of person and I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to protect me and mine. And I don't care who that hurts, because if you're trying to hurt me or hurt my family or come at me sideways, baby, you earned it. And that's the thing about karma with me specifically. Oftentimes people earn their karma from me. So it's like, because I know I don't go around trying to hurt people and be malicious to people and just being rude to people for no reason. Like, that is not my MO. If I got an attitude or feel any type of way about you, you earned it. Whether you don't know that you said or did something, and then you want to come and try to play in my face like, oh, we cool and but no, baby. Because the one thing about me is the way that my spirituality is set up, everything always come back to me one way, shape, or form. It always does. But yeah, so that was a story time about, how I believe that karma probably got back to that man. I don't know how and what way, but all I know is the next day we showed up, he wasn't there. And my husband was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm glad he wasn't, because my husband was ready to, set him straight and let him know, like, yeah, you don't talk about my wife like that. Like, I don't know what you think this is, but she spoke it for, And I think that's another thing too, is because I'm not, a Black single mom, as people might assume that I am. They just think that they can mistreat me. Again, no disrespect to single mothers, because nobody deserves to be disrespected, period. We're all just on this plane trying to figure ish out. You won't need that made worse by other people just being buttholes. You know what I'm saying? So my husband, he's the type of guy like me. Like, he don't play that ish. We don't like it when people bully the little guy or try to pick on people for no reason at all. But yeah, karma's a real thing, folks. And I really hope that the people on this channel or that's chiming into my videos aren't participating in that negativity. And even if you find yourself falling into a moment of giving someone what they really justly deserved, learn to forgive yourself first. And if you need to, make it right with that individual. But if not, if that person earned it, hey, it'll go right back to sender. I guarantee you, because there's always a scale and balance being weighed out in this life. Every time we do something positive, that scale goes up and keeps us further and further away from the negativity down here. But if you up here exchanging that positivity for negativity, you end up back down there. So stay in your high vibration. Understand, especially if you're chosen, that you ain't got to do nothing, baby. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing at all. You have a legion of spiritual beings, angels, entities, whatever you want to call it, that are looking over you at all times, looking over your family and your loved one at all times. All of this stuff is being recorded. All of it. And I don't just mean from my camera in your face. I'm talking about spiritually. All of this stuff is being recorded. Everything. So if that little thing that you think somebody didn't see or somebody didn't hear, they heard it and they saw it. The proper entities and spiritual beings that need to know that stuff, they saw it. They heard it. So people could come in your face and play in your face all day long, and it get back to you some way, somehow. Because when you're a spiritual being, it always come back. Everything always comes to the sun. All the dirty little deeds, everything, little dirty little back dealings, always come back up. So don't let yourself fall into that trap of wanting to get back and I'm gonna be just as petty as they being petty to me. It ain't gonna solve nothing. And like I said, if you're chosen, especially, you ain't gotta do a thing. God said vengeance is his, and I believe him, because I have other stories that I can share with you, that I will share with you, to attest to that. How God or the Most High has showed up for me and my family in mysterious ways. Like there's some of these things I can't even begin to know how or why they happen. but they did. So if you're going to go out here and spread anything, spread love, spread peace, spread positivity. Don't let these people drag you down into their misery, because ultimately that's what, karmics like to do. People who stay in low vibration, they want to spread as much negativity into this world as possible to keep it on a lower vibration and a lower frequency. Choose to be that high frequency. Choose to be that high vibrational person who lets their light shine no matter where they go. If people are trying to come at you and trying to, trigger you, understand that's because you're strong. It's not because you're weak. Understand that's because they see something in you that they either wish they had or lack, and that they wish they had it for themselves, or that, they just, there's something about you they don't like. And ultimately, I believe it's they demons, that's being triggered. I don't believe it's you per se doing anything to these individuals, because I know firsthand, me just showing up on the scene triggers people. I can't make sense of the phenomenon to this day, but it does. And I just be being myself, which is crazy. And that's what I want to encourage you to do in this video. Keep being yourself. You're going to spread karma, spread good karma, put nothing but positivity into this world. We got enough individuals running around here tearing other people down. Be the change, be the change. And I promise you, it will come back to you 10, 20 fold. And I know it can get tough to keep it up, because that's where I find myself right now. I'm like, God, I'm tired. Can we give this job to somebody else? And it reminds me of that meme. It's like, oh, Grandpa, I'm tired of digging. Well, that's too bad. Keep on digging. That's how I feel in this moment, that God is telling me, like, Ashley, I know you tired, baby, but keep going. You don't know. You may not know this, but some people's hearts you're changing, which is for the better. And in some people's hearts, you're revealing. You're revealing that this is just who those people are, and that they're not going to change. And that is also being notated in the spiritual realm, so that when that day come, when we all got to stand judgment or whatever, then we're like, I see right here, I sent one of my chosen among you, and you was kind of rude and nasty to them. And, that's what I'm saying. People going to try to backpedal and pussy pop out of it. But they ain't going to be able to escape it. Nothing they do, because it's in them. That's who they are. And I believe in character. I don't judge people based on the way they look, the way they talk, the way they dress, what they drive, what careers they have. I judge people based on the content of their character. And I do indeed believe spiritually that is how we are also going to be judged, if not already. So like I said, continue to vibe high. Don't let these people pull you down. Stay in positive karma. Do all the good that you can do in this world. Don't be excessive now. If you in traffic and, people ain't letting a certain person in, be that person, let that person in. If it ain't going to take no time out of your day, be that person. You never know how small little things like that can impact someone's whole day. But until next time, see ya.